Hey YouTube, this is KingCobraJFS with another video, and I got a new pipe for my collection. The way the stem curves in, it's kind of cool looking. It's got a nice smooth finish on it, and these pipes were made in Italy. Well, this one wasn't anyway. It says so on the side, right about there. This is made in Italy. You can't really tell my camera lens, but yeah. So need to break it in. Let's see where did I set chocolate. Hey there. Ha. Oh yeah, this is a good pipe. Even when it's stale, it's just so damn good. So turn it out here. As dry as this tobacco is, it still keeps the chocolate taste and smell to it. So that's good stuff. For I see that's okay. So take it and just kind of sprinkle it in there. Just a bowl here and break this pipe in. Okay, pack it in there just like that. This is the first time I've seen a stem design like this. Usually when you get a tobacco pipe, usually they're, well, like in the case of like this one right here, it's more shaped like that. Or in the case of this one, and the other one I have, the stems are, they're shaped flat like that. But the pipe right here, as you can see, the stem is differently shaped, so it's a nice little unique twist on it. Got some chocolate and honey, yum yum, pipe tobacco. Pipe tobacco has actually got a sweet scent to it. The plan a lot of non-smokers are going to be more accepting of pipe smoke versus, a cigarette or a really stinky cigar. It's got a nice smooth finish on it. Switching to pipe tobacco for a bit, seeing, if I can curb the cigarette addiction a bit. If I can find a pipe tobacco I can really get into, then, I'd be a lot healthier than cigarettes anyway. But then again, there's a lot that goes into smoking a pipe. It's not just like pulling it out of the cigarette pack, lighting it, and then going about your day, You actually want to pack it just right. You don't want to pack it too tight. If you do, just have a pipe tool here or a poker and just kind of, poke through the hole there.
That you wouldn't also be able to smoke it in some of the bars too.
Yeah. Now you can smoke at some of the bars here.
Or you just can't smoke a pipe.
Oh, I've done all the time. Just don't care. Likewise, it doesn't have weed in it, so they can kiss my ass. That's probably what they assume when they say you can't smoke your tobacco pipes in the bar, because there might be a chance there might be weed in there. It's like, yeah, like I'm stupid enough to smoke weed in public where it's illegal. It should be legal, though, considering we have troops coming back from overseas with post-traumatic stress disorder, and their solution seems to be giving this nasty-ass prescription pill. It makes your economy a shit ton of money and cures cancer, So why the fuck it's not legal? I don't know. Well, here's the kicker of it. Congress just passed a bill saying that if your state's legal, the feds can't interfere with you. So, that means what exactly? That means if your state chooses to legalize marijuana, they can't say shit about it. It really is up to the people now. Telling somebody to reclassify fish as dairy product, it does no. I think you're just being a smart ass with it. I've always liked the smell of pipe smoke. It smells quite delicious, actually. You get a good tobacco in that. It's very room note pleasing, you know. And I've had a couple of pipe tobaccos that, you know, the sweet smell in there versus. You know, you're allowed to smoke in some of the bars here in town, but you know, some of them don't really care if you're smoking your pipe as long as there isn't anything illegal in it. But you get a nice dark beer and a good bowl of pipe tobacco to go with it. Mm-mm-mm. I just picked up this new pipe today, actually, so figured I'd break it in with some pipe tobacco. And a bit ironic too, I was smoking my pipe in public, and this woman come up to me and she's like, "Can I have a hit of that?" I'm like, "It's pipe tobacco," and I handed it to her, and she didn't take it. She kind of went, "Oh," and walked away. And the ironic thing was, she was wearing a Dare t-shirt. Yeah. Ooh, bowl's getting a little hot there. Tongue bite. Pipe tobacco has a notorious way of drying out to the inside of your mouth when smoking it. Well, I saw a video of some children playing in a restaurant, and they were surrounding this one kid and just beating him up. And you see the video start, and employees there aren't going to deal with it because they're like, we're not getting paid enough to do that. This video someone posted on Facebook. They've taken their kid to Chuck E. Cheese, and for the most part, you think that was a fun place for your kid to go. But then you see in this video, these kids break out into a fight over, don't even know what the fight was over about. I don't know what the fight was about, but, you know, they let it go on for like 2-3 minutes, and then a minute later, they're like, okay, but we seriously have got to go. And they're like now you're going to break it up, really? And the disgusting thing about it was that other kids who were playing there were going to go, well, this isn't a very kid-friendly place if they're letting the kids just duke it out like that. And again, no idea what started the fight, but you have to ask yourself a serious question. they're coming there to eat pizza, get a massive sugar rush and all that soda popping, blow off all that energy on the place or go and play video games or whatever. You know, last thing I need, you know. And you have to ask yourself that kind of question, is that really? You know, what's... You know, if you're letting your kid do that, especially in a Chuck E. Cheese restaurant, it doesn't really matter where, but especially in a place where kids are going to play, you know, what kind of message are you setting for your, sending your kid that it's okay to just do that kind of thing? Now, in certain circumstances, if the kid's standing up for themselves, like, you know, the kid hits them first, and he punches back, it's self-defense, right? Basic self-defense 101. So again, I don't know what caused it, but someone just decided to flip on their phone or whatever and record the fight as it was ending. So I don't know what, we didn't see what escalated. It's just someone posted it on Facebook, and I had to ask myself, why? It's one of those things, really. I mean, kids can get pretty rambunctious, you know. It's very common for kids at a certain age. Sometimes, you know, they don't always play very nicely. A friend of mine, Damien, was taking his daughter to Mickey D's, and his daughter happens to be 6 years old and autistic. And like most kids their age, she was going in Mickey D's place to just play and blow off steam. You know, that's very common, especially if you go in there. You know, tell the kids, hey, go play while we order food. Okay, you know, and sit there and whatever, you know. Well, anyway, she climbs to the top of the slide, and these kids that are playing up there, there's 3 brothers, if you will, were like, we don't like her. Yeah, she's not normal. And just started saying, you're not allowed to play up here. And then they kicked her down the slide. And as a result, the 6-year-old is sitting there cussing them out, saying she's going to kick their ass and yada, yada, yada. Well, by this point, her dad had noticed it, and they're like, we're going to go tell our dad on you. And understandably, the father of that daughter was very pissed. I would be too if I was in that situation. And he said, go ahead, tell your dad, I'll kick his ass too, you know. They went running to their dad, and the dad looked at the other dad and said, I'm not getting my ass kicked for my kid's shit. Fuck this, we're leaving. So as a result, they didn't get to stay and play or eat. Yeah. That's one way to avoid confrontation, I suppose, but you can imagine that when those 3 kids got home, you know, there had to be some quarrel because they didn't get to eat or play. And people say the bullying problem is getting better. It is somewhat, but there's still hints of it, and it, you know, you can sit there and bitch about it and say, oh, it sucks, it's da-da-da-da-da-da, but bitching about it doesn't really, I know this doesn't really change it very much, unfortunately. We had a story recently where this kid was getting bullied in school, and it got to the point where he ended up bringing a knife to school and stabbing the person that was bullying him and murdering him. But then you look at his backstory, and the victim that was being bullied was put in a hospital for a week for a suicide attempt. On top of that, you know, he had gone to neighbors saying, hey, could you please protect me, yada, yada, yada. And, yeah. In my experience dealing with bullies, the only thing you need are these 2 things right here, these fists, okay? And I didn't just jump to the fists right away. You know, I've been bullied for several months, and I finally said I'd had enough of it. I'm going to make it stop. And the worst case is I got suspended for fighting on school grounds, which is complete horseshit considering you know, a lot of your school systems will preach, we have a zero tolerance policy for bullying and violence on campus, but then the bullying happens, they don't really do shit about it, but then it escalates to fighting, they're like, okay, you two are suspended, you know. I never got in trouble at home for it, though, because I was standing up for myself. That's the difference. But needless to say, after standing up for myself, the bullying stopped. A lot of high school students might pick an extracurricular activity, right? So I picked one. I was in wrestling for a year. I tried it just because I could, you know, why not, you know, extracurricular activity. And you know, the training that went with wrestling did help bulk up my arms quite nicely, so there's that, I guess. But anyway, I'm waiting before a match. I'm sitting in the cafeteria with my feet kicked up on the table, just minding my own business, just kind of chilling, waiting for my match to start. One of the kids sitting next to me decides that he's going to punch me in the nuts for whatever fucking reason, just because he can, right? I let a couple cuss words out, and people there were watching the whole thing go down, and by the time this had happened, again, people just, for whatever reason, decided they like to hit me in the nuts because they like to watch the way I react or whatever. So I said I had enough of this shit, and I took the chair I was sitting on, and I smacked him against the face with it. He fell on the ground. I beat him a good 3 more times with the chair, threw the chair aside. I got on top of this guy. I had one hand holding him down. The other hand was punching every inch I could. I just had to, and with each punch, I'm like, I am tired of people hitting me in the nuts. It stops now. And, you know, this lady comes out, where's your coach? I'm like, excuse me? She didn't see what had happened before. I'm like, this motherfucker hit me in the nuts, and unprovoked, too. It wasn't like I called his mom a cunt or anything, you know what I'm saying? I didn't. It was unprovoked, just because, you know. Well, needless to say, kids at school stopped hitting me in the nuts after that. My coach comes up to me and he goes, Saunders, you can't be doing that. I'm like, I understand that, but I told him what happened. He's like, well, I didn't stick around for the years after that. I joined it once, and halfway through I wanted to quit. This sport is, ugh. Okay, I'm not what you call athletic. Despite the fact I have a pretty healthy physique, I'm not what you call athletic. I'm more of a musician. Even though I only stuck it out for 1 year, they still gave me a patch and a jacket and a pin, so, yeah. Now, it comes to that sport in particular, you get a heterosexual male who has to wrestle a female on the mat for a match in front of everybody. And that sport involves a lot of close physical contact. All of a sudden, he pops a chubby in his uniform, and he's automatically disqualified from the match. That's kind of horseshit, if you ask me. So if you're going to do that, don't disqualify him for it. Or better yet, you know, separate, you know.
Maybe get uniforms that don't exactly, yeah.
Or either that or separate matches for the sexes, you know. You know, that's going to be your issue. And that's just, it doesn't matter to me now because I've been out of high school since 2010, so, you know, I'm not exactly, don't really care, you know. But yeah, it's one of those things where you join something, you gotta stick out and finish it. And I did, you know. And I mean, you look at arms like these, holy shit. Okay, I'm packing beef in these things. This is just one arm. Oh, here's the other one. But getting back to the bullying thing, if we're still witnessing it, and the saddest thing is, you know, children. You're thinking children are being innocent and carefree, not beating the crap out of each other at a Chuck E. Cheese restaurant. You know, the weird shit you see on Facebook, I tell you.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was over, like, tickets or something, or a toy.
Yeah, most likely, you know, over something stupid like that. You know, they play a video game, they get a shit ton of tickets, and go, that's not fair, I wanted that toy, no, no, no. And it's just like, ugh, you know. And that's what these kids are fighting about. It seems, well, let's put it quite frankly, childish. But it is what it is. I do believe.
Can you imagine if they did that at, you know, like the adult arcade, Dave and Buster's? Well, it's not really an adult arcade, but it's got, like, games and stuff. And
oh, TGI Friday. I'm guessing Fridays, right? Or Dave and Buster's, yeah.
Yeah, Dave and Buster's.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen the ads for it. It's like an adult Chuck E. Cheese, basically.
I can imagine that happening there, maybe.
Yeah, because they're, you know, me and Steph have been to the bar a couple of times, and we've actually witnessed fights almost break out. And what led up to these fights, heavy drinking and talking about politics and religion. And both parties did not agree with it. And one guy drunkenly gets up, all hostile, and trips over the chair. And the other one said, oh, actually, you son of a bitch, and they're sitting there glaring at each other. The whole bar just stops talking for about 2 seconds and watches the whole thing go down. And the other one says, fuck this, I'm leaving. She just has to walk out. And I had my hand in my pocket ready to draw my knife if I had to. And I didn't want to escalate to that, you know. But it is what it is. The knife I'm packing now, anyway, is a nice little bone handle knife. Check that out. The blade on it is sharp as shit too. I'll tell you what. Pull that out just like that. Nice, solid, sturdy.
It makes it even sharper with the stick we have.
Right. But yeah, it's one of those things where you have to ask yourself, you know, is the you know, and parents especially, you know, is, you know, fight when you have to, not because you want to, you know. It's one of those things. But for some odd reason, because I'm a big person, you know, people like to fuck with me, or have liked to, you know, and it's just like, it's not going to do you any good, you know, especially when I decide that I'm not going to put up with your shit, and I chokehold you against the wall and start pounding your kidney with my fist, just there's a couple hard hits. They fall on the ground going, oh, it's just like, you know. You don't need a gun or a knife to win a fight, okay? If you know a couple of decent moves, you can, you know. But again, you know, that's only when you have to, in self-defense. It's one thing, you know. But then we get the whole stand your ground thing, and when it's applied in the right context, you know, I agree with it. But you know, going out randomly shooting somebody or a group of people into a crowd, just for the fuck of it, that's called standing your ground. So I'm bracing to your dwelling, and you're trying to sleep or whatever, and all of a sudden they have a gun, they're intending to do you harm, and you reach for your gun, and you know, bam, bam, you know, and you end up injuring them or killing them in the process of them trying to do you and your loved ones harm. That's standing your ground. That's protecting, you know. And even if you fired the first shot, you know, this guy or this person breaks into your place with a gun in their hand, you know, that's evidence right there. That's case closed. That was self-defense, you know. That's one thing. But completely different, you know, if just going out randomly shooting somebody. That's not self-defense. That's not standing your ground. Okay. But this is the thing with that. You find people are using that excuse and abusing the fuck out of it to get away with murder. Very similar circumstances with the whole hearing voices in your head. Now, some people obviously shouldn't have guns, but when they get a hold of one and they use it to do something stupid and potentially dangerous, you know, and then they end up in court for it, and their court finds out that they're mentally unstable to be in society, then, you know, yeah, you know, that's one thing. But people in the past have lied about that kind of thing just to get away with murder. So it's the same bullshit, just in a different time. But, obviously after you, you know, smoked your pipe or whatever, you know, the bowl is probably going to be a little hot after breaking in the first bowl. So, again, you know, let that just kind of sit and cool off a bit before you fire it up again. So, yeah. You see the finish on it here is a nice color. And the bowl is literally about that deep, about that much of my finger, right to about here is where it goes in. So it's a pretty decent size there. But let that cool off though, because you don't want it to breaking in the pipes. You want to let the first bowl cool off immensely before you go right back to it. Just fucking fill this thing. Yeah. And is the worst thing though in public, I'm sure, when your kid's acting up and everyone's just sitting there fucking watching the whole thing go down like it's a fucking show or some shit. And it's even more frustrating when other people try to parent you on parenting your kid. You know, I was babysitting one of my sisters one time, and she wasn't listening, you know, as little kids do, and you know, and this lady just comes up to me and starts telling me how to parent her and shit. I'm like, who the fuck are you? This isn't even my kid. This is my little sister. Fuck off. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just babysitting alone, it's like, yeah, no. Makes you go, definitely don't want kids. You know. Now, I hate to be a grim smartass about this next topic here, but because of all the school shootings we've had, people are thinking about getting these bulletproof blankets where if it happens, the kid gets underneath their desk and holds the blanket up over their head like that, and whatever. Wow. So the shootings have gotten so bad that it's come to that. Now, thankfully, we haven't had one in quite some time, so that's awesome, you know. But that's what it's come to, that, you know what I'm saying, that's kind of disgusting if you ask me. And the shooter, all he or she has to do is take the desk from underneath them and yank the blanket off of them and to do it. So it doesn't really, you know, it's really that determined to do something like that. So yeah, I hate to be grim about it, but there you go. But like I said, if it's come to that point, you know what I'm saying, that's ridiculous. And usually with a shooting like that, the shooter ends up killing themselves, getting killed by a cop, or going to jail the rest of their life. And if you're pissed off at society, I think there's a lot better alternative to expressing your frustration rather than doing something stupid like that, because the three of those options just honestly don't sound appealing to me. Considering you can't smoke tobacco in prison, well, you used to, but I think they don't allow that anymore. Oof. Taking the aspirin off his nicotine. Holy shit. But yeah, you hear about these kind of stories and you have to ask yourself, you know, why? And it gets to a point where you just quit asking because you gotta quit caring eventually because it's gonna happen either way, unfortunately. So, as they say, shit happens, right? Well, anyway, this is KingCobraJFS with another video, and thanks for watching, and see y'all later.